So let's get you the updates where the subsidized LPG cylinders under the Ujjwala scheme has now been reduced to less than half of that. That means that 9 to 4 annually, the beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana that were initially entitled to at least 12 subsidized 14.2 kg cylinders a year. However, this quota has now been reduced to 9 and now has been brought down to 4. Now, the scheme that was launched back in May 2016 to provide a deposit-free LPG connections to adult women from poor households. The government says that the revised entitlement broadly reflects the average annual consumption amongst the Yojana households. Now, political war that is now broken out as far as when it comes to this reduction is concerned. And on part of the opposition, they are now raising the question after Congress and now the Samajwadi Party attacking the centre, saying that the BJP government has once again attacked the poor's kitchens. First, under the guise of the Ujjwala scheme, massive advertisements that were run, photographs that were taken, and it was claimed that poor women have been freed from smoke. And now the same government is reducing the number of subsidized gas cylinders from 12 to just 4. Reactions on part of the opposition that continue to come in after the government has decided to slash or to cut down subsidized LPG cylinders under the Ujjwala scheme to 4 a year. And this is now coming across as far as the government reducing the subsidized cooking gas cylinders to 4 annually for the beneficiaries of the Ujjwala scheme. Now, what is being said as this revised entitlement broadly matches the average annual consumption of the Ujjwala beneficiaries. So, Mohit, that seems to be the statement coming in from the government side as to why the subsidized quota was reduced to 9 cylinders last year and how has been cut down to further 4.
Well, yes, in fact, Amita, now Ujjwala scheme was launched in 2016. In starting, around 12 cylinders were being given under this particular scheme on subsidy. Last year, the number was cut down to 9, and now we have got to know that the number has been cut down further to 4. Now, the government says that it is being aligned with the consumption of the Ujjwala scheme beneficiaries, and perhaps that is why they have taken this decision that 4 LPG cylinders will be provided under the Ujjwala scheme from now. Now, this has sparked a massive row. We have seen reactions coming in from Congress, from Samajwadi Party. We have reaction coming in from Manikam Tagore, who basically says that this is a gift to poor women of this country by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, given the fact that how Ujjwala was seen as the biggest victory by the government in 2016 when it was launched. The number of cylinders were reduced to 9 and now to 4. Now, but the Modi government provides subsidy only for 4 times. The government says, average consumption is 4 cylinders. The truth is poor family use less because they can't afford to buy, not because they don't need. So this is the reaction coming in from the Congress party. The opposition parties, Amita, say that the government says that 4 is the actual consumption per year of the Ujjwala beneficiaries, but that is not the case. Now, in a way, to support the OMCs, to the companies, to reduce their losses, the rights of women have been snatched away. This is what the opposition parties have been saying, but the government says that they have the data, that around 4 cylinders is the consumption of the Ujjwala scheme beneficiaries, and perhaps that is why they have taken this decision. But then it has sparked off a massive controversy. Opposition parties are attacking the government. But as far as the
fluctuation in the LPG prices is also concerned, Mohit, does it also have, as an impact to why the subsidized, cylinders that are now given out, especially when it comes to the reduction in the number in the Ujjwala scheme? Now, as far as the LPG prices are concerned, does it have an impact?
Well, yes, in fact, Amita, that is one of the issue. You see, I've been speaking to people in the ministry, and they have said that yes, when it comes to the losses of the companies which are providing LPG, the oil marketing companies, when it comes to the fuel crisis all across the globe due to West Asia crisis, there is uncertainty. The companies are running into the losses. So that could be one reason that this decision has been taken, because on every cylinder there is still loss that the oil marketing companies are making, despite the price of the domestic cylinder that has been hiked few days ago in Delhi. But then again, the companies are facing the losses. So that could be the reason that the number of the cylinders under the Ujjwala scheme, they have been reduced. But what we see is that the opposition parties are making a point that in 2016, when the scheme was launched, it was with a great fanfare. It was touted to be one of the biggest.
As far as the government's vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Now, just to quickly put it in perspective, the revised entitlement that broadly reflects the average annual consumption amongst the Ujjwala Yojana beneficiaries, because they effectively receive the support of about 1,000 rupees per cylinder when compared to the government's estimated supply cost of around 1,600 rupees per cylinder. So till now, the government says that the Indian households continue to pay among the lowest prices for cooking gas globally, despite a sharp rise in international LPG prices that is triggered because of the disruptions in West Asia. Now, as far as the developments are concerned, this is what we are now looking at as far as the political war of words that have also broken out. The Congress has questioned the government, so has the Samajwadi Party, and targeting the government over saying that the poor's kitchens, their households that have now come under attack under the guise of the Ujjwala scheme, as the numbers subsequently over the years have come down. And let's connect with Nyamika on this. Nyamika, the revised entitlement, exactly when it comes to the government side, they have been saying that it broadly reflects the consumption by Indian households, because India still continues to pay amongst the lowest prices of cooking gas globally, despite a conflict that has been escalating in the Middle East.
Well, yes, indeed. We have also been joined by the CPI's Rajya Sabha MP, Mr. P. Santosh Kumar, and let us try to speak to him regarding this entire matter. Sir, now the subsidized cylinders numbers under the Ujjwala scheme, that has been reduced from 12 to 4. What is your first reaction about this move which is being taken by the central government?
See, the situation is worsening day by day. The Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, both FM and the PM, already issued certain directions to the common man of this country. And it is evident from their statements that we are passing through a very difficult situation. And in the India bloc meeting yesterday, we had discussed this issue also. The point is that we have to expect more and more these kind of measures from the government. That is why we are demanding an all-party meeting to take stock of the situation. Why the government is trying to hide something? This is the latest of anti-people measures, and they will add more and more. And this price hike on one side, unemployment is on the other side. So as far as the life of a common man is concerned, it is miserable in our country, and we will fight it out. What to do? What more we can say? In after the Middle East crisis, the government is a mute spectator. Situation is not changing. And where we are going, in fact, do the government have any concrete plan apart from this encouraging horse trading? Nothing. Horse trading and political drama on one side, but common man's life is becoming miserable day by day. So this is highly deplorable. We cannot accept this, and the government should reconsider its decision. At least this LPG cylinders, that the old number must be replaced. This decision must be withdrawn as early as possible.
Sir, in fact, the government is also giving a reason behind it, saying that it is because of the rate of consumption which is there in the country, and that is the only reason why this decision has been taken to reduce the number of subsidized cylinders.
See why the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister is advising our countrymen to take certain austerity measures. This is the first thing, no? Then why it happened? They have to answer to this question first. Now, day by day, they are implementing certain decisions, and it is affecting common man. These are all, what is to say, lame excuses without any basis. How can they say all of a sudden? This happened after the Middle East crisis. So, just to cover up their, failure, they are making these kind of useless explanations. No one can believe this, and this government is getting exposed day by day. And that's what I can tell you at this moment.
So what kind of demands you have?
Nyamika, please continue with that conversation, because now the left is also blaming the government, saying that the Aam Aadmi is the one that suffers the most. But why this revised entitlement, that also talks about the average annual consumption amongst the Ujjwala Yojana households, and according to the government, its goal is to actually ensure that the benefits are supplied in accordance with the actual needs of the beneficiaries. So this is now coming across because the average number of refills for Ujjwala consumers, Mohit, has now come down to 4. And the beneficiaries that actually receive the support coming in from the government side, that is the estimate, where Indian households still continue to pay amongst the lowest prices of cooking gas globally, despite sharp rise and fluctuation in LPG numbers. So the cost of supplying domestic LPG cylinder, however, has gone up following the surge in international prices.
Well, yes, in fact, and what the sources also say, Amita, as of now, is that some elements were diverting refills from the Ujjwala scheme from 9 cylinders for the commercial purposes. So there were certain leakages in the system that were being exploited by certain elements. Now, in order to plug this diversion, the government says they have reduced the number of cylinders from 9 to 4. So this is what it is coming from the government as of now. The Ujjwala consumers will continue to receive as many cylinders as they want, but subsidy amount coming to the account would be just capped at 4. So the Ujjwala beneficiaries will be getting the same number of cylinders as earlier, but the subsidy they were getting, they will be getting only on 4. Now the government said this is being done because there were certain elements who were diverting the cylinders meant for Ujjwala Yojana because there were certain leakages in the system towards the commercial use, and hence it was not for the benefit of the Ujjwala beneficiaries, and also it was not for the benefit of the companies. And perhaps now that decision is being taken. This is what the sources are saying as of now. But the opposition parties, they are
well, we've seen the reactions coming in from the opposition side. They have been questioning this very move. However, the government is of the opinion that this revised entitlement broadly matches the average annual consumption of the Ujjwala beneficiaries. Thank you very much, Mohit and Nyamika, for joining us here on the broadcast. Those are the bulletins.